clothing and gear is really personal, so it's kind of tough to do a review on a pack or in clothing in general. A lot of times I'll go into a store and I'll try something on myself and see how it feels to make a decision. I really scrutinize my decision to buy the Osprey Syncro 10. It's an expensive pack. It's $110. And when you can go on Amazon and buy something for like $20, that seems kind of similar. It's like, what am I getting for that extra $90? Where's that really going? But when you look into it, when you really do your research and you spend your time, and at some point you're like, God, what is my time worth? I decided on getting this because it has so many cool features, and Osprey has an amazing warranty. They sort of have this like any product, any reason, any era. So they'll repair it, you send it to them, they'll fix it, or they'll replace it like forever. Please don't take advantage of that. Like, kind of like REI, they used to be able to do tons of returns, exchanges, and people kind of took advantage of it. And, they still have the REI garage sale and stuff. I'm getting on a rant here, but I really appreciate just the culture and the mission behind companies like this that build something that's meant to last, and they try to keep it out there. That's really awesome. So anyway, that's sort of like the heritage behind this pack. It only weighs about a pound. It comes in two sizes, sort of a small, medium, large. So it'll fit better. It'll feel comfortable, and you won't feel like it's slopping around. You won't have to over tighten these straps and have tons of extra strap coming off. I mean, to some extent, it's not exactly, it's still only two sizes, and people come in all different heights and everything. But from my experience so far, it's been really good. And I have been riding with this for like a month, trying it all over the place, riding on trails, riding across town. And I use this constantly. And I used like the regular backpack I was wearing constantly before I got this. It just didn't have the hydration. And one of the things I talk about a lot here is that a lot of electric bikes don't have water bottle cages. This is the Specialized Turbo Levo. It's a super expensive, fancy bike. It does have a bottle cage, but a lot of them don't. And sometimes you're not next to your bike. It's important to have water, stay hydrated. So this has that. I think it's like 2.5 liters, and it's really well integrated. The reservoir itself is really easy to open and work with and fill and clean, and those were also other deciding factors, because I went to REI. That's actually where I bought this. I tried on a whole bunch of packs, and Camelback has that new one that's kind of like on your hip and keeps the water low, and I thought, what a cool idea. But in practice, getting that lid open on that, it's kind of tight, and opening it, that's one thing, but then getting it back on, lining up those threads was like incredibly hard. I mean, maybe I'm just not very skilled or whatever, but I asked employees, I'm like, can you help me? And they were like, oh, it's easy. And they were struggling to line it up. So, I mean, I hope that Camelback fixes that. I'm a fan of Camelback products, but I think Osprey went the right way with this. The other thing you might notice at first glance is that all of the zippers have sort of this string and then the little loops. And I'm wearing cycling gloves. If I was wearing full fingered gloves, because it does get cold, it's nice to have those loops ready for you to just snag them and pull. See how easy that is? It's like, it's awesome. And the zippers don't go all the way down on the sides. They're just long enough to give you access to the different compartments, but not so long that like the whole thing's flopping over and getting out of control. So I really like that. That was another really thoughtful area. Like everything on this is really thoughtfully done. You can see on the side there are, I don't know if these would be big enough for water bottles, but they're perfect for snacks, or, I have a Garmin that I sometimes put in there, or your keys or something. Right now I just have granola bar over here. I'm just going to completely unload this and show you what I've got. Got another granola bar over here. If we dig in the top, I've got my keys, and they've got a little clipper thing right here so they don't fall down there. I've got a big carabiner on my keys, so I don't need that. Let's see what else we got. We got a pump. Love that. There's actually it's like 3 loops in there so that you can easily get your pump on there. And I actually think mine has like a second clip on it, so I'm gonna have to unclip that. There we go. Got a pump with a pressure gauge from Azendi. This is really cool. I'm probably gonna review this someday. And then I got a map right here, Fort Collins. Been riding there lately. And then I got my wallet, and I've got like this little cap thing so you don't get sweat on your helmet, and I got the Garmin. I mean, there's just tons of space in here, and it was all pretty well organized and sort of like vertically. It wasn't just like all at the bottom. I guess most of it was, but the pump was at the side, the keys were up here. So that's cool. That's like the main cargo compartment right there. Now this top little tiny compartment, this is cool. It's for glasses. And, you know, these are my favorite glasses. They work really well. I don't know if Oakley really sells them anymore, but they're called the Jawbones. You can switch the lenses and go from clear to dark. I like being able to keep those in my pack and not have to worry about, you know, where are my glasses? Where's my pack? Where it's all right there. This is like a purse for me, and it's nice and soft. It's pretty well protected. It's on top of everything versus getting smushed down by everything. So I like that. Again, the zipper, it's not too long. It's just enough. And then this thing, what is this? This is pretty cool. They call it the lid lock. It's like this plastic loop. I'm gonna go ahead and take my helmet off here and try and show you. So you see how this has like long holes in it? It's not circular, they're kind of long. You take that plastic piece and you slip it right through one of those holes. There we go, it's kind of a two-handed thing. So you can see it came through and then it swiveled sideways and it pulls. And it's really nice because when you're walking around, once you've parked somewhere, you want to keep your helmet with you, but anyone who's used the straps on their helmet to secure it knows that like it flops all around, whereas this is much tighter. It's not going to be banging into your arms as you walk. It's right there on the back. It's easy to get to. So I love that. That's another really like innovative thing, and it says Osprey lid lock, patent pending, so that's something that's kind of exclusive to them right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do the strap version of this just to show you what the difference would be. There we go. So a lot of times when you don't have, you know, the lid lock thing or a good strapping solution, you've got your chin strap that's just dangling there. And see, now when I turn, it really flops around. It's a very obvious difference to me how well that lid lock thing works. I haven't actually used it a lot. I just kind of wear my helmet most of the time, but it's another neat feature for people who want to, you know, style their hair and stuff and keep track of that. While we're back here, I want to call out these nice reflective stripes. This pack does come in 3 colors. There's like a bright blue, this gray, and then bright yellow, like my gloves. And this one actually has the bright yellow accents, which is kind of cool. It sort of ties in, so I felt like it matched a little bit, and it's a little bit more visible, but there's another reflective stripe here. And then this is one of those loops for adding a bike light, so you can clip it in right there, and then it's going to be up high. You know, if I was sitting on this bike, people could see me from behind. A lot of times when you're riding in the cold, in the dark, in the rain, you know, if you have a bike light down here on your bike, that's pretty low, and it might even be blocked by your coat. Sometimes your coat kind of hangs down, or your backpack, and it blocks the light. So being able to mount the light directly to the backpack is a winning solution. A lot of times you'll see them on helmets, and I've been looking at a specialized helmet that actually has an integrated light too. So there's a lot of cool solutions these days, but this pack is prepared to give you the best backpack-based solution that I've seen, you know, and that's not too uncommon. I mentioned rain a minute ago. Another one of the cool little extras here is this rain cover. So you just unzip that little extra pouch at the bottom, reach in there, and pull out the also brightly colored rain cover. There we go. And you can see it's kind of attached to the pack with this loop. You can take it off, but the idea is this won't get lost. And then you just spread it out like this and wrap it over the entire pack, and it's going to keep everything dry and give you another really bright reflective surface. So just wonderful design there, really smart. It's going to keep you safe. And there's even the spot for adding your reflector on the outside of the rain cover, and a little hole at the bottom, so water can kind of dribble out and it won't get, you know, too humid in there. And then you just kind of pull the straps from the front. It's a really neat solution. Now you might have noticed when I was doing that with the rain cover that the pack stayed pretty tall and it kind of kept its shape. See that even right now? It's like, you know, what's going on? They have a wire, kind of like if you were on a, you know, a big backpack for camping and stuff. They have the big frame inside. This one has a wire frame too. And it's really lightweight, but it runs along here, and I think it must be kind of concave because on the front, oh, there it is. You can actually see that. See that silver right there, that's the wire frame. And then on the front, they've got this, what they call, it's like airspeed, kind of a mesh, and you can see right through it. See, so if that was on my back, the mesh would be pushing against my back, and air would be circulating behind me, so it's not going to get all sweaty. You've got ventilation, basically, kind of keeping you cool. Same thing with the straps right here. There's just a soft foam in there, and then they've got these extra bungees and stuff, so you could put the straw on the left side if you wanted to, the right side. The sliding chest strap is really cool, and then it's actually flexible right here, so like as your chest is expanding, this isn't going to kind of suffocate you and give you that really tight feeling. Also, got a magnetic clip point here. So there's a little magnet on the back of that straw. It stays attached. You don't have to worry about tucking it in and kind of smearing the plastic too much. It keeps it clean and sort of separated. In my experience so far, the bite valve has worked pretty well. You can just kind of bite right here and water starts to come out. It's nice. It's easy to see, but it stays out of the way. I've actually used this with a chesty, like riding with a GoPro right here, and I was able to raise the chest strap on the backpack high enough so that it didn't conflict with the chesty. It's really versatile. It's nice to have that. You can make it wider, up, down, whatever you want. And again, that's not super unique to Osprey. Other companies do it. I think for me, it's just the combination of like everything that's being done on this pack. And I want to call out these little hip supports right here. This is another feature that I see a lot on like hardcore backpacks where you're carrying a heavy load. You're not going to be carrying tons of stuff with this bag, but it's still nice to have a softer contact point on your hips so that when you're riding, it's not just a thin strap like rubbing against your skin. This gives you a little bit more support. It kind of curves out on the back, and I mean, it's just a wonderful design, like in every way. It doesn't feel perfect though, to be honest with you. Like when you put this on, I don't know why, if it's the way that this is curved, it might just be my collarbones. Like I kind of have bigger collarbones. I'm a skinny person. I don't have a lot of like extra meat padding going on. And when I put this thing on, sometimes my collarbone and just my shoulders feel a little like kind of tight. Should I put that on right there? See, kind of right there. And I'm gonna buckle this up. Okay, you can kind of see all the straps are set up right now, and there's really nothing in it, so it feels pretty soft and gentle. But when things start actually pulling down on it like this, I do feel it a little bit more. And maybe all backpacks would kind of be that way. I was, when I've actually filled this thing up and I've got all my gear in it too, and there's water and everything, you're wearing a backpack. But again, it's pretty cool. It turns with my body like really quickly. It doesn't feel like it's sloshing around at all. And then there we go. There's that bite valve. Nice to have that. So I've got the backpack on right now. I'm going to go ahead and buckle the straps up just across the front. Still a little bit high from when I was, using the GoPro chesty. And then it's got these bolsters. One of the areas that I had to trade off for when I got this pack versus another one is it doesn't have zippered pouches here. I wanted to put my cell phone here or have more like keys and things, and I can really only use these, and they aren't zippered, so I was worried about like, oh, is stuff gonna fly out? I just gave up on it and put it all inside the pack. That's one of the trade-offs with this. I'm okay with that, but I wanted to give you kind of a view from the back and the front, kind of put my helmet back. You can see that it does touch a little bit there because of the frame that's inside, but when I get on my bike, I'm up high like this, it's working pretty well. It hasn't been rubbing on me. It's, again, I have access to this and everything. So those are just a couple more considerations to make. Leaning forward like this, it keeps the weight pretty high on my back too. It's not sagging too far, just the way I've got the strap set up. So I like that. So I think one of the biggest features that we haven't actually explored yet is the reservoir. Like, how does that work? I've hyped it up a little bit by talking about how I did not like Camelback's solution. So let's dig into this one and see what it looks like. You can kind of see this zipper goes a lot further. So I've actually got much more access to getting that hydro pack out. And there is still a lot of room here, maybe for another jacket or more accessories. I guess I don't overload my pack, but it's nice to have that. This is some medical information in case I get crashed on the trail and need some help. And then here is the bladder. So check this out. Two things really stood out to me. There's a buckle right here you can disconnect, and that actually holds the whole bladder up. So, you know, sometimes if you get a hydration pack, the bladder starts to slip because it's full, it's heavy, and it goes to the bottom and you get this like crumpled mess at the bottom. This one, it holds it up straight, so you're really spreading out the weight of the water on your back. It also has a quick disconnect point right here, so I can disconnect that, like that, a little bit of water sprays out, and now I can take the whole bladder out, completely out, very easily. So, you know, this is just the pack now. Decent amount of room. Like if you had, over time, you wanted to replace that bladder, you could get another one and run your own straw through, or, you know, I would try to get the Osprey one again because I like how it fills, but it's really versatile, you know, and again, really lightweight. Okay, so here is the bladder. You know, coming back to design elements, there's a handle right here so you can hold it, and that's designed so you can take this slider off the top, unfold it once like this, and then start filling it. And look how wide that is. I mean, you can put ice in there, you can get a scrub brush in there if you need to, just slosh water around, and the folding solution is just, it's so much easier for me than the screw caps. So I love that. I think they did a wonderful job with that. Just pull it across. It's definitely tight. I haven't had any leaking so far using this thing. And then the straw, you know, connects at the bottom really nicely right there, and then it's actually kind of woven through that handle, so this, it's not like the straw is going to get bunched down at the bottom either. The whole thing is just incredible. And yeah, you know, it says 2.5 liters, so that's the capacity of the bladder, 85 ounces. So I think that's a pretty good amount of water. Great, so now it's completely supported. Feels pretty good. Okay, so I've kind of made a mess of things here. You know, this is completely unpacked, all my stuff on the sidewalk. But it just goes to show how clean and compact it can all be when you're using a solution like that. Again, I made this choice on my own, went out, tried a bunch of packs, found the one that felt the best but offered the most solutions, because I use this constantly. I bought this myself, I paid the money and everything. And I just hope that it helps to maybe trigger some ideas for you. You may not need or care about all of the aspects that this pack offers. You might only just need a couple, and you can certainly get like the $20 pack on Amazon. I think they work great. My mom has one, I think my sister has one, but I'm out there riding, you know, all the time. I want something that's gonna hold up. I really didn't like screwing around with the twist cap stuff. So this was just perfect for me, and I'm happy I spent the money. You know, a month later, it still looks great, it's holding up, and I'm sure it's gonna last for years and years. So for the full write-up on this and some other accessories, and of course electric bikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com, and of course, ride safe.